Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to the We All Juggle Knives channel. That is a Szco heavy throwing knife. In this video I'm going to show you how to do a triple paracord wrap on your throwing knife. Alright, make a loop like so. And you're going to put that loop through the lanyard hole. Alright, now this is going to improve your grip on the throwing knife. Okay, so you see how that strand is there? Right, two parallel strands, that's important. One of those is you basically start the wrap with that one. You see how we're doing that there? So that's important. So there's a loop through the lanyard hole, and then you got two strands. The free end is towards the tip. All right, you see that? So we're going to do 3 layers of wrap. Now this is very good if you have large hands, right? Or if the handle of your knife, like the tang of your knife, is particularly thin or narrow and you just need to bulk up the handle. Alright, I sped this footage up 4 times because it does take a while to wrap, but we're going to wrap 1 layer down to the end of the handle. Then we're going to wrap another layer back up towards the tip end. And then a 3rd layer back down towards the handle. Alright, so we're going to have a fairly thick, kind of oversized wrap. Alright, or if your hands are very large, it'll be just right. But this will make the throwing knife a lot easier to throw. But the thing is, this is not only for throwing knives. I've done this for bushcraft knives. You can save a lot of money if you buy knives without handle scales. I know Condor sells a couple nice bushcraft knives without the scales, and it's a lot less expensive. So if you know how to do paracord wraps, you can actually save some money that way. And how do you like my bulk paracord roll? Yeah, I will include a link to that. I use a lot of paracord, not only for knife handles, but also on my tomahawks. And paracord is just super useful outdoors at a campsite for survival prepping. I hope you're into prepping, so if you want to save some money, get those large rolls of paracord. I'll include a link to that in the text description box, and you can check out the different colors. Alright, so you see we got to the end. Now this is important. This is where you cut the other end of the paracord, and that cutter there, I've reviewed that like a while ago. I'll include a link to that review, but that thing is super useful because it just cuts very cleanly. Cuts very precisely. I still use that thing. I've had it for years. Alright, so I'll include a link to that cutter. Right? This is a Szco torch. I'm just melting the end. Alright, that's a great torch too. I'll include a link to that. The Szco torch. But see, so now we have this one end. We're going to stick it through the loop. Alright, we're going to stick that through the loop and leave a good length. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pull the other end, and that loop is going to then pull that free end through the lanyard hole and under our wrap. Okay, so get some pliers or a multi-tool, right? And you're going to pull that free end, right? Pull that end, and you'll see, right? It'll pull that loop. All right, and keep pulling it. Pull that loop through the lanyard hole until it goes under your wrap, right? And it'll take that other free end with it, right? Just keep pulling it until it goes all the way under, and so that free end is now secure under your triple layer wrap. All right, now cut the other end, the one that's toward the tip. Go ahead and cut that. Leave a little length, and now we're gonna fuse that down. Alright, get your torch. Now we're going to melt that, and then we're going to tamp it down. Now I use the bottle opener on my Swiss knife as a tamping tool. So when it's still hot, just press it down and fuse it. Right, fuse it to the paracord. Alright, so now that we got all that, we're going to heat shrink it on. So boil some water. Okay, we got the tea kettle there with very hot water. And pour it into a container that's as long as your handle is, right? And you're going to submerge that paracord in hot water for maybe 20 or 30 seconds. And what this is going to do is heat shrink. It's going to heat shrink that paracord tightly onto your handles so that it does not slide up and down at all. Alright, after you do that, the next step is very important. You have to dry it off completely. I put it in front of a fan for a couple of hours, turning it every once in a while. Just make sure it is completely dry so that it does not rust. And the evaporation will eventually dry it completely. So how does it throw with the paracord wrap? It makes it a lot easier to throw because your throwing knife is not going to slide out of your hand. With a secure grip like that, it's really easy to time your release very precisely, which for no-spin throwing, that's kind of the whole trick, getting the timing. Right, so this just makes it easier to throw. Also, it changes the balance of the thrower a little bit. It makes it more handle heavy, which I find makes the no-spin throwing easier. Right, so to do no-spin throwing, you basically chamber it with your wrist position there. You bend your wrist back, then you kind of flick it forward, but don't bend your wrist too far forward. But yeah, these Szco heavy throwers, they're actually very popular. I've reviewed them. A lot of throwers have reviewed them. The Szco heavy throwers hit hard because they're thick. Alright, so I definitely recommend those Szco heavy throwers. I'll include a link to those. They're not very expensive. They're usually sold in a set of 3. And then when you put the paracord on, they hit even harder. Now, those are a lot of fun. Now, the tips sometimes bend a little. You may have to regrind, like reprofile the tips to be like more broad because they're so heavy it can bend the tips. Right, but that can be modified. Yeah, it's a sweet thrower. Hits hard, satisfying thunk. Yeah, so these Szcos with the paracord wrap, they're a lot of fun, Try them out if you're into this throwing. Alright, we got 2 now. And my target's getting worn out. I'm gonna have to get a new stump soon, or a new round. Bam. Now when you flip a knife like that, it actually resets the weight that's logged in your brain, in your subconscious mind, and it helps you throw more accurately. Alright, there you go. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll include lots of links for throwing supplies, as well as, let's see, a link to that cutter, my Szco torch, the paracord in bulk, the Szco throwers, a lot of other throwing supplies, as well as throwing knives from the budget-friendly to the elite, and some tomahawks. So check out all those links in the text description box. This has been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.